You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans. So with EJ DiMera awake, we fully expect his memory to return of who shot him. And there's more than a few suspects, but, you have to wonder who really did it. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's dive into the possible shooters and whether or not EJ will rat them out to the cops once his memories return. But first, please click subscribe if you aren't following us. So Belle Black confirmed to EJ this week she does indeed love him. And of course, Sami Brady was out of town as far as we know. So those two women are two we can take off the suspect list. Also, Rachel Blake, while crazy, does not seem to be an option either since EJ has her stashed somewhere so she can't blab to Jada or the SPD that he kidnapped Rafe. We don't have Arnold Feniger on the list either because he's been shipped out of town. And while he's not too happy, he's also in the tropics somewhere on a beach living off of EJ DiMera's dime. So if Arnold killed EJ, then he'd be left broke and still a criminal. As for his look-alike, Rafe, I also don't think it was him because let's face it, he lacks that killer instinct and he has had zero flashbacks of that night, unlike a lot of other people. So with that in mind, let's dive into who the actual viable suspects in the case are so we can see who really shot EJ. First up, Roman Brady. We're going to talk about him. It feels like his wife, Kate Roberts, has been pretty much eliminated as a shooting suspect. We know she really hates EJ, but she denied it to Rex Brady, to Roman, and to Philip, and we've not seen Kate having any flashbacks of that night like so many of the other suspects have been having. However, her husband Roman does keep having flashbacks about the gun safe from the Brady pub. It's pretty strange because we know Johnny DiMera took the gun, but Roman keeps having these flashbacks about it. So we also know how much he hates EJ because of what he did to Sami Brady. But Roman to me feels like a long shot. I just don't think it's him. If EJ remembers it's Roman, yeah, he would definitely press charges in payback for him telling Johnny about Sami's rape. So somebody else plagued by flashbacks and strange emotions over the night of the shooting is Gaby Hernandez. And she just got accused by Susan Banks, who'd grabbed her hand and had that psychic moment. And she saw Gaby outside the DiMera mansion that night. And yeah, she was definitely there, but Susan didn't see Gaby pulling the trigger and shooting her beloved Elvis Jr. Susan just knew that she was there that night. And, Gaby dumped JJ over the attempted murder accusations. And yeah, I could see Gaby shooting EJ to find out Rafe's location, but now that he's home safe, it doesn't make sense for Gaby to shoot him and risk her future and risk going back to prison a third time. But if Gaby did shoot EJ, yeah, he would laugh while he pressed charges. So one top candidate that would be really problematic as the shooter is Johnny. If his beloved son shot him, I could actually see EJ covering for Johnny once his memories are back. We've also seen a lot of flashbacks of Roman's little gun container and Johnny taking it out of the lockbox. And when Chad told Johnny that EJ was awake and coming out of his coma, Johnny had no interest in seeing his dad. That might be because he's struggling with guilt over shooting EJ, Despite the flashbacks and Johnny having a gun, however, I just don't see Chanel's hubby as the type to go shooting his father no matter how mad he was. So one option that is wide open, though, is Ava Vitale. Since they've written her out of the show, it'd be easy to blame Tamara Braun's character. Our leaker told me, in fact, that Ava was the first character that was a casualty of the new writing regime. However, that's not been officially confirmed. So Ava ran off to be with Tripp in Hong Kong, and it was terribly suspicious that she threw Melinda's gun into a trash can instead of returning it to its rightful owner. JJ said they're still looking for Ava, but bottom line, if the ballistics on Melinda's gun that they retrieved come back clean, they'll probably stop looking for her. And realistically, at this point in time, Ava had more of a grudge against Kristen than EJ. So I'm not really feeling her as a culprit. You know, there's a chance Ava might wind up scapegoated at least for a moment because she's gone. You know, like if EJ remembered it's his son that shot him, he might try and accuse Ava instead. But I don't think it's her either. So another lady in Salem who has potential as the shooter is Jada Hunter, police commish. Her gun went missing, which Sean noticed the night of the shooting when Jada was so drunk. And I don't recall them saying that Jada's gun ever turned up. If you remember it, drop the comment, but I'm trying to remember if they mentioned that it turned up. And if so, I don't think they've tested it for ballistics. So while Rafe was still missing, you know, and she and Gaby were so worried and angry, yeah, I could see Jada maybe putting a non-lethal bullet in EJ to make him talk. And if she was completely sober, I doubt she'd shoot EJ. She was drunk that night and upset about Rafe. So Jada's kind of plausible, but to me, still unlikely. If it was her, yeah, though, EJ would turn Jada in a heartbeat. So another family member of EJ's that had a gun and a lot of anger is adoptive sister Kristen DiMera. She got hauled in by JJ and Sean right off the bat. Then her gun passed ballistics test, and they tried to say, well, Kristen might have used another gun. And Melinda said, okay, but you don't have another gun, so you're not keeping her. And she yanked Kristen out of police custody. And if EJ remembered that Kristen shot him, I do think he'd turn her over to the cops in a heartbeat because fair's fair. And her mom, Rachel Blake, was going to testify against EJ and send him to prison for Ava and Rafe's kidnapping so that Kristen could keep her hands clean and protect her daughter. So yeah, plausible. All right. The last person on the suspect list is EJ DiMera's insane little niece, Rachel Black. My leaker told me quite a while ago that she shoots her uncle, EJ. They said it was on accident, but honestly, sometimes I get imperfect information and it could be on purpose. If Rachel had overheard Kristen talking to her brother, you know, Rachel might have thought Uncle EJ hurt her namesake grandma, Rachel Blake. So info from my leaker also said that Kristen is going to confess to the crime to save little Rachel, and EJ settles for seeing his sister go to prison since she recently tried to send him to prison. And if you look at this behind the scenes photo, you will notice that Kristen is in a Statesville prison denim uniform. They don't do like the orange jumpsuits over there. It's a denim shirt. It's like a white tank top thing and denim pants. That is the prison outfit. And it's not anything like how Kristen usually dresses in her skin tight dresses. That is definitely her in a prison outfit. So yeah, EJ may let the real shooter off the hook, which may be Rachel, and watch his sister Kristen go down for the crime. The only way that it makes sense for EJ to see Kristen go to jail is if she was the real shooter or he allowed her to protect her daughter, Rachel. So we'll find out more as EJ's memories unfog going into this week and next. But yeah, looking like a Kristen and Rachel combo.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.